Hi, everyone. My name is Dawn, and thank you for joining me on another episode of The Chamber Within. There are pros and cons to being awake, and I wanted to attack both aspects of it today. And I'll talk about the cons first. I like to start off with that and end on a positive note. So, the cons are being awake feels like being the odd one out. But in truth, I've always felt that way since I was small. I've often felt that way. There have been moments it wasn't on my mind, but it has often plagued me. There is something very distinct about an awakening that does change us forever. So now that I've had experiences beyond the veil, it is more pronounced, feeling like the oddball out, and it feels like a private club. So because of that, it can be lonely at times. I know I have spirit guides and am never truly alone, but in this lived experience, coming into contact with others who can relate is few and far between. Like I've often said, it feels like an I know something you don't type of moment. And the rest of the sentiment is what a burden it seems to know what I know. So it's true that life is full of distraction and our lives are an outpicturing of our own consciousness. We're often reacting to life instead of creating. But once we become conscious of our creations, we can begin to build a life that we are proud to take ownership of. And it takes a lot of practice. So just over a week ago, I said something to a bill collector. I had imagined myself saying to them, I want to say a full year ago. Um, and then again yesterday, as I was paying my bills, I said it again. So last night as I was falling asleep, I was going over my day and I realized that the one phrase I had always wanted to say, I had the privilege of saying yesterday and also about a week ago. I didn't catch it until last night. I was like, wow, this is really happening. So now I'm consciously distracting myself with the creations of my imagination, like I discussed last week about coming into alignment with what you want. I would like a particular outcome, right? I say to myself, so if I, Dawn, want, for instance, a pineapple fruit, I need to plant pineapple seeds of thought. So, if you know what I mean, I selectively pick a pineapple thought to grow a pineapple plant. And the funny thing is, while I often get the fruit, if I stay with these pineapple thoughts to keep along with the same metaphor, it might look a little different once it is in my reality, right? So, right fruit, wrong bill collector. It's kind of going after the bigger bills I got, but I'll keep working on that. But anyway, here's where the oddball out feeling comes in. So, about 2 years ago, I was in a rough patch, and while I was walking to work around 4 a.m., because I had to be there by 4:30, I was listening to my audiobook, one of my favorite spiritual book series. And I had just begun my about 25-minute walk. So it was about 3 minutes in. I can say that because I haven't left the neighborhood yet. I had a flash in my mind. Um, this flash felt like a memory. And I saw myself preparing the struggle I was having. It had to be my higher self because that I was tapped into because I was much larger than my physical body. So much so that my apartment that I lived in at the time, I was overseeing like a game board. I was hovering over this apartment. It felt like I was a giant because I'm looking down at this movable game board. It was like in a 3D, 4D structure. So there were no walls or anything, but I was looking at it as it is, the kitchen and the rooms and such. I was shifting it around and I could see the floor plan layout and planning something. And then, boom, the moment was gone. I'm back on the sidewalk, walking, looking down at my feet, as I often do, continuing on to work. Um, this was the first time I had a vision while I was awake with eyes open and walking. It felt like a memory of Anything else you would have, like when something triggers a memory, you relive in a split second, like biting into a sugar cookie or going on a date or that one party, even a funny joke. But except this memory was new to me, but also real, that I identified with it as the planner myself. Like I remembered it, like, oh, I forgot I did that. So it was new, but it was a rememory. God, it freaked me out. It felt like um, the kind of memory from before, but not within a time frame. Like, oh, this is when this happened. Like I can pinpoint a week or a month. Like I really was trying. I was like, I remember doing this, but when? And there's no timeline to associate with the planning stage of what I was going through. I have an understanding of being outside of time with a few experiences, and this is definitely one of them. Um, in that state of being, time is irrelevant to me. It's not a factor. It has no governing principle. It is completely irrelevant. So I remembered something from before, which felt like a planning I had for my life, but it also felt like it was happening now. Like now kept coming up. Like I'm in it now. How does a memory happen now? I I spent the last couple of years trying to reconcile this. So it's already done, but at the same time, I'm doing it now, and I'm trying my best to explain it to you. It feels like being in an honors class and feeling unprepared for the curriculum, but there's a deep part of me within that knows this curriculum, that knows it to be so at the same time. For me personally, as Dawn, it's a lot to put together just at one moment in time on my way to work. Uh, and by the way, um, I digress on purpose because I literally just mentioned pineapple seeds and pineapple fruit because I would like to see things in my life, but my higher self has plans as well. And, in the spiritual books, they talk about, you have lessons to learn. You can learn them in any state, in a mansion, you can learn them on the street, as a vagabond. And, I just want to put it out there, like, I was walking. Like, can we fold a car into this situation? Like, I'm thinking, like, whose plans are more important? Does one override the other? Like, I'm the avatar living through this as Dawn, but like, dude, like, it's cold outside. I could use a vehicle. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just find it interesting. Is there a higher will that I need to kind of fall in line with? Is that the true alignment? Like I know it is, but like let me know the plan. I understand that I planned the struggle, but let I feel like um, the forgetting that we come into when we're born. It's helpful as far as the curriculum, but once we awaken, I know we get tapped into things. But I'd like more of the blueprint plan. Like let me see, so that I can get what I want quicker. Right? That's the selfish human. I want what I want right now. Anyways, back to what I'm trying to say. This is why I have my podcast, to speak on things I no longer want to keep inside. It feels like I'm doing someone else like myself a disservice by not speaking up. And I honestly just want to pay it forward by being the weird one, saying the weird thing about my weird experience. And it is, in fact, my intention to create a fruit right this very moment, right now, and say that this will find someone who understands me. So, for the relatable pros, regulating the nervous system. Now, going through all the changes of a spiritual awakening, questioning and wondering and not wanting to participate anymore, um, meditation obviously has helped me uh, kind of deal with the things I cannot control in a way that I know that I'm always okay. And going within has helped me to guide this ship. I see it as a ship a bit better. The metaphors of life being, I'm using or creating a metaphor of life being a rocky water, like a sea. Sometimes it's calm and sometimes it's tumultuous, but I'm able to navigate it in a way that does not consume me and destroy my peace. Really quickly, I had a conversation. My daughter sometimes will reach out to me. She will call me when she's in distress, and I can give her information about how to navigate that because I've been there. And so, if nothing else, going through the changes that I've gone through and being able to help someone else makes it feel more than worth it. Now, she doesn't have to obviously meditate. She doesn't have to do anything she doesn't want to do. But me being able to meditate and regulate my nervous system and kind of bring myself out of situations where I felt uncomfortable or suffocated or there's too much energy in that particular space and I had to remove myself. I give her these little tips and tricks. It is my hope, though, that I know I won't always be here, that she can uh, really put into practice the things that I help her with and uh, be able to regulate on her own. I'm more than happy to do it. I'm not saying that, but, kind of develop habits for herself that she can then tap into when she can't reach me or I'm not around or her friend or, you know, her daughter or son one day needs that type of advice. So, um, that's the pros. Still being here, still trying to piece this puzzle together, still trying to figure it out, and living the life that she can manage no matter how rocky the waters get. Thank you for your time this week. I appreciate you as always tuning in. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, I am at thechamberwithin@yahoo.com, and I would love to hear your insights as well. Have a blessed week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.